Hey everyone, I've got a busy week ahead, heading to Reading, Pennsylvania for my solo show at the Reading Public Museum. If you're in the area, come check it out. If not, you can always see my work on my artist's website. Still, I didn't want to let this week pass without sharing something with you all. Something simple, honest, and personal. Today, I'm flipping through my second drawing diary from 1996. No frills, just honest reflections from a time when I was still figuring it all out. This one picks up right where I left off. Nearly 3 months of ink, angst, and some of the cringiest pages I've ever made. Now, right on the first page, I wrote what I called my fourth commandment at the time. Creativity, so full of contradictions, always depends on change. And honestly, I still stand by that. The lines aged better than most things in this journal. It's true. Even small changes, like rearranging your bookshelf or switching which side you work on, can shift your mindset and unlock something new. I'm not leaving anything out from this journal, flipping every single page. I know there's a lot of ugly, very cringy stuff in here. It is what it is, and you just move on. You learn from these mistakes. No matter what level you find yourself at, you know that you're not alone and that many of us are like messing up pages all the time. This is just part of the process. And since we're keeping it brutally honest, let's talk about mistakes. Not the cute ones you laugh about later, but the ugly ones. The ones that make you want to throw the whole journal into the trash and question whether you should keep on going. Because trust me, I've had plenty of those. There's this romantic idea that art is all flow and inspiration, but that's not how it works. Sometimes it's pure frustration. You try something, it looks like garbage, and you hate everything you just did. But here's the catch. That's exactly where the growth happens. When I was living back in Santurce, in San Juan, back then, I had this tiny studio apartment, miniature, really, just one window, and it faced the wall of the building next door. No view, no light, just a trickle of sewer water running between us. The stench was just unbearable. The place was practically falling apart, and there was cockroaches everywhere. The bathroom would break down every other week. Water pressure was a joke, and there were nights I genuinely questioned my life choices. But I stayed. I kept drawing. I showed up for the page, even when everything else felt like it was just crumbling. That kind of environment doesn't make you feel creative, but it does build something stronger. Endurance, resilience, a strange, stubborn kind of hope. And later, when life gets a little better, hopefully, you appreciate those small wins more than anyone else ever will. So if you're going through one of those chapters where everything around you feels broken, uncertain, or pointless, keep at it. You're not alone. We've all been there. Believe me, it's worth it. You'll get through this. It's wild looking back. So many of these drawings, especially the thoughts I scribbled in the margins, just make me shake my head. But that's growth, right? You look back and go, what was I even thinking? But without that, there's no path forward. You'll see some of that in these pages. Some are studies from life, objects, self-portraits, corners of my cockroach-infested apartment. Others are copied from old art history books and sometimes National Geographic magazines. I didn't have the internet. Google image search didn't exist. It was all analog. You worked with whatever you could get your hands on. I stuck mostly to ballpoint pens, Pilot pens, Sakura Pigma microns, and once in a while I'll add a little watercolor, quill pens, and ink. Nothing fancy, just practice, not perfection. Another thing I want to bring up is how trying new things, even small experiments, can totally change your artistic path. I started learning calligraphy around this time thanks to my mom. You'll see the influence. She's still the best. Back then, it was just something new to try. I was playing with letter forms, layouts, symbols, trying to bridge design with drawing, trying to find a voice. But to this day, I still use those skills in my work. Lettering, inscriptions, symbols, they become part of my visual language. That's the thing about exploration. You never know what's going to stick. You might try 10 new things, and only one of them will stay with you. But that one thing could shape your entire creative identity. So don't hold back. Try that weird technique. Use those tools that scare you. Make something truly ugly. The only way forward is through. Back in early 1996, I was studying graphic design. Feeling completely lost and frustrated most of the time. A new city, few friends, no clear direction. I was 21 and already showing signs of all the wrong turns I was about to take. Artistically, emotionally, existentially. But this journal, it was like a private friend. A place to vent, to figure things out, and sometimes just survive the day. And yeah, I was repeating my mantras from my previous journal. The process is more important than the result. Because let's be real, I wasn't always inspired. Most days I felt stuck underwater, fighting my own doubts. I was often my own worst enemy. Still am sometimes. But the drawing had to get done. And I even kept track of the moon phases and what music I was listening to, hoping to find some deeper pattern in how I felt and what was working. But you know what? Music absolutely affects how you draw. If you're listening to doom scroll worthy news while trying to draw, good luck. Trust me, I've tried that. When you listen to bad news, it's bad vibes. It's just gonna show up in your drawing. It's obvious, right? But sometimes we forget. I know, and we get carried away. Don't let that invade your space. Don't let that invade the sanctity of the ritual of drawing. That's why I always say, learn to tap into the right archetype for the mood you're in. Know what kind of energy you're working with. I'll talk about that in another video if you're interested in learning more about how to tap into those archetypes through music. On April 28, I wrote, Es un largo camino hacia la perfección. It's a long way to perfection. Yeah, no kidding. Some days I skipped drawing altogether. Other days I doubled down and made up for it. That's still true today. If you miss a day, just pick up a pen and do even more drawings the following day. And on May 2nd, I wrote, Para ser original, primero conoce el origen. To be original, first know the origin. That came straight from my obsession with art history. I was looking at the old masters constantly, trying to understand where this all came from. And then also realizing how far I was from it. And I still am. But it's still an aspiration. Towards the end of the journal, you'll find some commentary, a few snarky critiques about art school. Yeah, I thought it was a joke then, and honestly, not much has changed. Some teachers, sure, I owe them a lot. They were great. Others, not so much. But the institution, it felt disconnected from real life, and in many ways, it still does. So if you're thinking of becoming an artist, don't rely on a school or a degree. Find the artists who inspire you, truly. Learn directly from them. But more importantly, live your damn life. Travel, fall in love, take risks. Move to a new city, learn a new technique. Break something, fix it. This journey isn't about grades or critiques. It's about what's inside you and where you're willing to take it. And please, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I cannot say this enough. I cannot overstate this enough. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's part of the process. Even if you think going to art school was a mistake, that might not be a mistake at all. You should have learned something from it. Because I asked myself the same thing. Was it a mistake to go to art school? I don't think so. I learned many things. Perhaps I didn't learn a lot of skills or techniques, talking about my undergrad bachelor's degree, of course. But I did learn how to overcome obstacles and critiques and just to carry on with my work in a very toxic environment. Remember, the process is more important than the result. Some of the drawings in here, embarrassing, totally cringe. But they're here, and maybe you need to see this. You know, it's never been about perfection. It's always been about the process, one line at a time. Alright folks, that's it for this week. Like I said, I'm keeping it short and simple because I'm heading to Reading, Pennsylvania for my museum show. If you're nearby, I'd be honored to see you. If not, check out my new work on the website. It's all up there. Well, most of it. And yes, I'm taking a fresh sketchbook with me because drawing is where everything begins. Let me know how your drawing practice is going. Drop a comment. I read them all, seriously, and I try to respond as best as I can. And remember, I'm here for you. So, as I always say, may the gods, muses, angels, or whatever you may want to call these timeless cosmic archetypes be your guides and inspiration. Till next time, peace. Thanks for watching till the very end. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Your support means everything. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.